How do you approach leading through layoffs in a way that preserves trust, maintains morale, and balances empathy with business needs?
The trans-theoretical stages of change model is a model that applies to a lot of different theories of psychology, and it has a lot to do with how people process change. And it could be good change, it could be negative change, any of those things. Each stage has kind of like a lingering question behind it. So, first stage is pre-contemplative. So, it's before someone's actually like really contemplating change. And the question there is why. They're why questions. It's seeking understanding behind a decision or behind a change. It's not even really about the change. It's just like, well, why this? Why now? The next one is contemplative. So now people are actually actively contemplating that change. They want to understand the what. So, what does the world look like now? Like, what's the result of this? What's going to actually happen now that we've made this change? And then the next stage is preparation, and that's the how. How do we move forward from here? How do we acclimate? How do we, keep this from happening again? Any of those things. And the other stages are action. Action stage is when you're actually doing the things. That's also a how question, but it's a really heavy feedback one in terms of giving a lot of feedback or requesting a lot of feedback about how we're doing and then adjusting as you go along. And then finally, there's maintenance. Maintenance is also it's a what question. It's like, what do we need to do to keep this going and what's next? So for this one, the reason I'd encourage you to think about those three stages, if people are anxious, they're worried, they're nervous, you really want to explain why. Why did this happen? And you don't have to go into any super great depth. It's not about like answering 100 questions about it. But very often when there are layoffs or any kind of workforce reduction, it's like, oh, it's this kind of like generalized, we need to like cut costs or we're not doing as well or any of those things. I encourage people to get a little deeper. You don't have to say anything that's revealing the inner workings of the company if that's inappropriate, but to really have that fulsome conversation and talk to the why, the what. So what's different? This is where you can bring a team together and say like, okay, so what's different for you? How are you feeling about it? Here's what's different for me. You can really talk about what that difference feels like, what it looks like. And then the how. Okay, well, how are we going to move forward together? And that's that real like co-creation, like deciding like together we're going to do this thing. This is what our new world looks like. This is how we're going to share this work. You can't promise people just blindly like, oh, we'll never anyone off again. This will never happen again. You can't do that. But what you can do is really bring people into the conversation, really clearly explain this is why it's happened. This is what it looks like. And this is what our world can look like or will look like going forward.